Hi, it's Denny Terzich of Pro Rides. After building 2 drag week cars with Hot Rod Magazine, we decided to go back to the pro touring arena and build a 55 Chevy with modern day performance and parts. That's what we have here today, Xbox. And to do so, we didn't want to build it as a national company competing against other builders around the country. We want to do it with local shops. And we started out with Nathan Durst of NCD Specialties, a 26-year-old kid to me, starting out his company just over a year ago, doing all the metal work. And then to do the paint work, we have John Harrison of Area 51 Auto Works, who is really a policeman during the day and paint shop at night. And then we turn to Chad Fellebaum, who's doing all the machine work on the car, who's really doing this business as a part-time side job to create a full-time business, hopefully down the road. The Smith brothers are doing the interior. Both of them started this 5 years ago after retiring from their daily work and doing a passion in making interiors. We also are working with Brian Harding out of Chicago, who we always say it's daytime as a chef, and then he does the glass work on a side. But together, these folks are what we call, and we like to say we're hobbyists, and we're going to try to compete with the national companies around the country. But we surround ourselves with a lot of great companies such as Summit Racing, Ride Tech, BF Goodrich, BASF, ARP, and many, many more who have just made this build a reality. And we're hopefully it'll come out and everybody enjoys it this summer. When competing in the pro touring arena, you really have to have a lot of one-off parts. In Xbox, we try to have many of them in really the areas that have the most impact. From the headlight rings, turn signals, taillight buckets, console pieces, gas tank cover, and the list goes on and on. We really try to have unique pieces that'll try to separate this car from many others. One other person that is playing an integral part of this build is Brian Stupski of Problem Child Custom Studios. He has been the one that we always say has given us a headache when we're trying to make this into a reality because his pencil is much easier than cutting metal. But if you look at the car, one of the most profound changes we've done, and there's many of them, is going to be the chop top. We took 1 7/8" out of the A pillar, and then we leaned the B pillars in 15 degrees, and it gave it a real nice rake because these stock roofs actually go upwards. So we think that gives us a nice look from that standpoint. And then we did 2 drop downs in the hood, which now flows with it, basically 3 levels. The middle is higher than the outside, and then it flows right through the windshield and down over the dash, which will then house an iPad mini into the middle of the dash itself. The front, we flipped the bumper upside down. We put an air inlet into the bumper that'll give cooling through the oil cooler and also the transmission cooler, as well as has a tow hook provision on it. In the back, we flipped the back bumper upside down, which you don't see much on these cars, and filled in right below the valance there. And then we added a wing, which is very difficult on these cars, and we've run through many different scenarios, but the wing we ended up with really worked out well. We feel that flows with the body and gives you the performance of some downforce at high speeds. So at the end of the day, the car is being built to aesthetically look like we want it to, but also will before. The power of the 55 Chevy, we turned to Summit Racing and many of their manufacturers. We're going to utilize a 427 cubic inch LSX block with a ProCharger F2 that will produce around 1,500 horsepower and about 1,200 to the rear wheels. Sending that power to the rear is going to be a custom-made Bowler transmission, 6-speed with paddle shifters. The frame is an Art Morrison Max G chassis with basically 2 setups. It has a 3-link with a Watts link for the road course, and then you swap out the top 3-link to 2 4-link bars up top for drag racing. Reason being is a 3-link does not perform well in the drag strip, so we have both setups, which we call it a 5-link, and it's custom setup from Art Morrison. And the rear end is a fabricated Curry Enterprise 9-inch Ford. To stop this car, we're returning to Willwood with 14-inch rotors with 6-piston calipers, and Billet Specialties new line that they just came out with, B-forged wheels, really set off this car and gives it an aggressive look. Wrapped around BF Goodrich tires with 345 rear tires and 275 tires up front. Now to the color. Everybody wants to know the color of this car. It has changed probably every day of every week, and it's been one of those things that we cannot nail down. John Harrison at Area 51 Auto Works has his color in mind, and it's quite rosy. But let me just tell you that we're still up in the air, and you'll have to wait to see what BASF paint will be laid down on the car.